Hey everybody, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Blade Deity, iced on the post-apocalyptic world, or Apocalypse God Sword, or Apocalypse Sword God. This is a Chinese manhwa. Basically, the backstory of this comic is monsters basically started to overrun Earth, and over time, as once these monsters started coming to Earth and basically started this war of trying to kill all humans. Humans started acquiring these talents, and basically started this war between monsters and humans. Our main character is what one would is in his. So this is a regression comic, right? So it starts out with our main character in his first life, where he is a third tier human warrior. This isn't him, by the way. This is just other level 3, right? Like tier 3 characters. I will say the power system gets a little confusing. I don't know if it's a translation thing, because Thunderscans seems to be always changing their translations for the same things in the comics. Like sometimes they referred to the power system as tiers and ranks, and then others is times when they're talking about the tiers and ranks, they switch it to grades and levels, and it's like always flip flopping in between. So it gets really confusing. Um, so I'll break it down real quick. The power system, there as of chapter 85 in the comic, I've read up to chapter 85. As of chapter 85, the power system, there are 5 tiers. At least that's what has been, as I said, brought up in the comics so far. Uh, but mainly humanity and monsters. For some reason, felt like it was like soft capped, in is a way to put it. There were a bunch of tier threes of humans and monsters, but no one ever made it to tier 4. And then the reason why our main character died in his first life was because there was a tier 4 monster, a grade 4 monster that ended up attacking. I hate when comics does this. Like this is like a tier 4 monster, and he ends up wiping out basically the rest of humanity because our main character was only at highest a tier 3. But he regresses. Oh yeah, I was talking about the power system, but it goes up to 5 tiers, 5 grades. When you're reading, they flip flop, so remember that. But each tier has ranks to it or levels to it. There's like beginner, advanced. I think I didn't have any of these set up. I apologize. One second. All right, I'm back. But there's intermediate, there's beginner, there's advanced. Like those are the tiers. I just had to pull that up real quick to show you guys. But there's beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then there's like peak. So there's 4 tiers in each. Well, there's 4 levels slash ranks in each tier slash grade. I know it gets confusing, because of the translation, but it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grades slash tiers, and then each grade has 4 ranks or 4 levels inside of it: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and peak. But that's the power system. But our main character, basically, he gets killed in this world. We find out that the world, the monsters, why they're all coming to this human world is because of what is referred to as the apocalypse system. Basically, it gives everybody the skills, it gives the monsters, their access to this human world. And it is basically what is controls like the laws of the world, right? Like if the system, like if you try to exploit the system in any way, like goes against its rules, it literally smites you down, as punishment. Um, but our main character, he regresses and to a point where, earlier in his life, where before he could start training and, becoming stronger, even faster in his new life, so he can basically save humanity, save the world. Because his whole mindset is, he failed to save humanity in his first life. So in this life, that's what he's going to do. He is going to successfully save humanity this time around. And, he gets a thing called the Sword God system to help him do so. We find out in later chapters that the Sword God system is actually way more powerful than the Apocalypse system. Um, as you can see here, like this is the analogy that they gave us in the manhwa, is that the blue is the apocalypse system, and this orange black one that is like overriding it and whatnot is the sword god system. So basically, our main character was exploiting the system. The apocalypse system tried to kill him for it, but the sword god system overrode it, and basically said and like stopped the eradication protocol. So we find out that he gets reincarnated or regressed with this system that is even stronger than the apocalypse system, and it gives him all these skills. You know, he's able to turn basic level skills into triple S rank skills. We find out later down the line that as of right now in the comic, quadruple S rank is like the highest that is mentioned as I said, chapter 85 where I read. A quadruple S is like the highest. It's like equivalent of like four tier, like the fourth tier and like a person's rank, which our main character becomes like a pseudo fourth tier with one of his skills essentially at this point in time as well, um, becoming pretty much like the only fourth tier. But basically, that's what this is. It's a power fantasy. It's a regression comic. Our main character wanting to save humanity. I say the art's pretty decent. Like there's nothing like special really about it. The characters look good. The monsters, you know, they have their creepiness to them and they look pretty decent. The story itself, though, is kind of negligible. I'd say after like chapter 30 and chapter 40, it started to just feel kind of bland. You know, it starts out pretty cool, you know, turning normal skills into very OP skills, you know, face slapping everybody. But down the line, as the comic continues to go on, it just feels like it kind of just slowly goes down in quality. The art is still good, even as of chapter 117. I checked, it's still good. I feel like the translation is a little iffy with being Thunderscans, simply because Thunderscans, you know, as I said earlier, they're kind of just confusing. They're always changing the same things that they translate. Like they could talk about it, we call it one thing in one chapter, but a different thing in another chapter. So it is what it is on that front. But overall, I feel like if you want a power fantasy comic where you want to turn your brain off and read, this is it for you. You know, you'll enjoy it. I like power fantasies, so I mean, this one is kind of lackluster, but at the same time, it's like it's a time waster. It does its job for me at least. But if you wanting something that actually has a good story and good character interactions and isn't just some power fantasy, I'd skip it if I were you. It's definitely not for you if you want like an in-depth story, in-depth character interactions, and something that'll blow you away. This won't do that. But yeah, that'll be my all I have to say for this one. It's a little long of a video. I didn't mean to make it this long. I apologize. But that'll be it for this one. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and help me grow. See you guys later.